Oracle, the global database giant, is betting big on cloud-based software services, and India has been at the helm of this growth. India has seen a double-digit growth to its top-line revenues in software as a service market for the last 3 years, making India the best-performing region in the Asia-Pacific market. But what exactly is SaaS, or software as a services? What are the demand trends, and how will Oracle achieve its aim of becoming the world's largest SaaS player? Hello and welcome to this very special conversation with Oracle's SaaS India head, Mr. Prasad Rai, and I am Reema Tendulkar. Prasad, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to CNBC TV 18. First, if you could start off by explaining what exactly is SaaS, software as a service, for the uninformed, and what are the key demand drivers?
Thank you for getting me on this session, Reema. Software as a service is a trend that started a few years ago, where software, application software, has been delivered to the customer in a much more agile and simple fashion, so that the customer is able to consume that and derive the business benefits that they are looking for. Traditionally, software was delivered to the customer. Applications was delivered to the customer in the form of on-premise, where the customer had to deploy it on the infrastructure and build it up before they got the benefits. But with software as a service, which is what we call SaaS, we are actually able to do all of that internally at Oracle and deliver to the customer a ready-made application that can go up and running in a matter of weeks. This trend of moving from traditional software to SaaS started some years ago and has been picking up very rapidly in India and across the globe. The three large areas where we have software as a service applications are in ERP and EPM, human resources, customer relationship management, and supply chain management. This market is actually growing at over 30% globally, year over year. And if you were to look at that as a part of the overall market, out of a total software applications market of about $180 billion globally, 75+ billion currently is from software as a service, and this is growing much faster than the traditional software. The biggest chunk of this market is the ERP space, which has also traditionally been the largest. And the highest growth potential is in the cloud ERP space. The other big components are the CRM solutions, which is really about how customers or companies are able to go and interact with their customers. And the other big piece is human resources, which is about how companies are able to manage their employees across the country and across the globe. So as far as software as a service is concerned, it's a really exciting space for us in the application space.
Okay, about a 30% growth that it's seen on a year-on-year basis, and out of the $180 million market, $75 billion would come in from SaaS as a market. For Oracle, it's a change in the business model, right? You were earlier largely an on-premise, license-based model for your products, and now you're moving towards SaaS. If you could just tell us what percentage of your revenues for India come in from SaaS. Your revenues as of the last year were about 46,000 crores. So what percentage would be from SaaS?
So as of now, if you look at it, the move to SaaS has been in the last 4 to 5 years for Oracle globally and at India too. If the growth rate of our SaaS, for example, in the first half of the year, ERP grew 50% year over year, much faster than our traditional software. Now, the way we see that is with the additional growth coming in not just from ERP, but also from human resources and CX, we will be in a position to be almost an entirely SaaS-based company in the next couple of years. So in effect, our SaaS revenues are growing significantly faster than the traditional businesses, and that in the next couple of years or so, our SaaS revenues would probably be much more than the traditional software revenues. Globally, if you look at it, our applications revenue was about $11.1 billion, out of which just ERP and human resources SaaS revenues was about $2.2 billion. But the growth rates, like I said, on the SaaS solutions is much faster than in the case of the traditional on-premise software. For example, in Q1, globally, our ERP business grew 30% year over year.
Okay. You indicated that the SaaS market is seeing a 30% growth globally. Is that the case in India as well? And what has been Oracle's growth? Are you outpacing the industry?
So the Indian growth as far as the SaaS is about 31 or 32% year over year. And our Fusion ERP growth, which is the cloud growth, is in excess of 50%. So we are actually outpacing the market itself and acquiring market share from the competition. So, and we've seen this happen not just in this financial year, we've seen that happen in the last couple of financial years too.
Okay, what is your current market share? And if you could just give us the pecking order, say, compared to a Microsoft as well as the other large players.
So currently our vision is to be the leader and to dominate in the SaaS marketplace. And I think we are well on our way in that space. For example, Workday, another global player, has an ERP offering. And globally, we've sold almost 30 times what Workday has sold in the ERP space. Similarly, we have good growths in human resources and the customer experience space. So overall, I think in about a year's time, we should be in a position to be the market leader in India as far as SaaS is concerned. While at this point in India, I can't really still tell you because the data is still not very much available. I would think we are very close to being the market leader as far as this is concerned. It's just a matter of a few quarters more where I think we are in a better position to be the market leader in SaaS.
Is there any reason to believe this industry growth rate of 30% will slow down in the future?
I think the industry growth rate will continue and maybe even accelerate. The last 4 or 5 years have been the time where many customers in India and globally have started their move to the SaaS-based applications. They've also started realizing the benefits of those SaaS-based applications. And with newer applications, right, like IoT and artificial intelligence and blockchain coming into the mainstream and being used by customers all over India and over the world, and they are native to the cloud-based application platform. So personally, I believe that the growth rate will continue and maybe even accelerate over the next few years because the opportunity for growth is much higher. And in fact, if you look at the projection, I'm just giving an example of ERP, that is expected to more than double globally from 7 billion to 14.9 billion by 2022. And on the other side, the traditional on-premise ERP business revenues are expected to decline from 21.5 billion to 20.5 billion, right? So it is really about the conversion of the existing on-premise customers onto the cloud or onto SaaS. And that will either maintain the pace or gather more momentum.
Okay. So
that's how I see the whole market evolving.
Okay. So what percentage of your enterprise clients right now, say in India, have migrated from the on-premise services to cloud-based services?
I can give you some data on that from a global perspective, Rima. If you look at it, for example, in the ERP space, roughly about 21% of the revenues are from the SaaS business, right? So the headroom for growth over there is enormous. And if you were to look at human resources and at CRM, that is 50% of the revenue plus comes from the SaaS areas. We have quite a few of the largest and iconic customers in India that have moved from on-premise solutions to the cloud. For example, there is State Bank of India, SBI, there is Transworld, there is Hindalco, there is Reliance, there are a bunch of other companies, including Taj Hotels, that have moved from our on-premise to the cloud-based solution. So we're seeing that migration happening and gaining momentum fairly rapidly. That's how the outlook for us is right now.
But what percentage, in what stage of the journey are for enterprises to move to cloud? Are we 20% there? Are we 30% there? At least say for the Fortune 500 companies, if you could put a number to that, just to get a sense of the movement from on-prem to cloud.
At this point, I would believe it's in the teens, Rima, but I also see the momentum picking up over that, right? Our first port of call would really be to our install base. And we really want to work with them and help move them to the cloud. And more customers are not just accepting, they are actually coming forward and looking, having realized the benefits of moving to the cloud, they're really looking at adopting it, sometimes as a part of their entire digital transformation, or sometimes their approach is picking up particular LOBs or functional areas and moving that onto the cloud. So while it's still early days, the rate of growth is fairly high, and we continue to see the interest levels only increasing with our customers.